The sound of the front door unlocking was familiar, ordinarily comforting. But tonight, it echoed through the silence like a warning shot. Sarah was only slightly late, nothing out of the ordinary. Her cheerful voice rang out, "Honey, I'm home." And I forced a smile in response, trying to steady the thudding weight in my chest. I sat in the living room with a half-empty glass of bourbon in my hand. The TV was on, but I wasn't watching. Its flickering light danced on the walls as shadows grew long and stretched. We'd been married for 7 years. Years filled with moments both beautiful and ordinary. We had built a life together. Solid, dependable. Or so I thought. Lately, the seams had started to show. Something had shifted. And I couldn't pretend I didn't feel it anymore. She walked in glowing. Her eyes sparkled, and her cheeks were flushed with color. She smiled warmly, but it felt forced, unnatural. Too practiced. Too bright. And I knew. Something about that expression. It didn't belong to me anymore. For months she'd been pulling away, becoming a version of herself I didn't recognize. Whispered phone conversations, sudden plans with friends, and a lingering scent on her clothes that wasn't mine. I had my suspicions, but I told myself I could be wrong. I wanted to be wrong. "How was dinner with Emily?" I asked, doing my best to sound casual. She shrugged like it was no big deal. "Oh, you know. Same as always." Her voice was light, careless. But then she stepped closer, and I caught it again, that faint scent. Cologne. Not mine. It clung to her, mingled with her perfume. "I made some coffee. Want a cup?" I offered as I headed toward the kitchen. "Sure," she said, following behind. There was a bounce in her step I hadn't seen in a long time. It made my skin prickle. She was alive in a way she hadn't been with me in months. I handed her the coffee and kept my expression neutral. "You seem in a good mood." She gave a soft laugh. "It was a fun night. Always nice to catch up with the girls." She sipped her drink, deliberately looking anywhere but at me. I said nothing. I just stood at the sink, washing dishes, listening, waiting. Hoping she'd come clean. Hoping for a confession, for honesty. But all I got was a ramble about work, projects, meetings, deadlines. Her words felt like static. Pointless noise trying to fill the space where truth should have been. I dried my hands and returned to the couch. Picking up the remote, I switched the channel to the news. "Can we watch something else?" she asked. Her tone had a sharp edge now. "Sure," I said too calmly. I reached for the laptop on the table. She tilted her head slightly. "What are you doing?" "Just checking something," I replied flatly, the words barely covering the rage boiling under the surface. For the last 2 weeks, I'd been planting hidden cameras around the house. Something had felt wrong for a long time, and I needed proof. The night before, I found it. The footage was clear. Sarah, in a cheap motel room, wrapped up with someone else. The way she touched him, looked at him. It all told a story I never wanted to hear. A story that destroyed me. I opened the laptop and brought up the video. I turned the screen toward her. Her face went pale. Her hand flew to her mouth, and the coffee cup slipped from her fingers, spilling across the carpet like blood. She stumbled back, her eyes locked on the screen, horror blooming across her face. What is this?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "You already know," I said steadily. "That's you. Last night. With him." She gasped, shaking her head. No, this can't be real." "You thought you could hide this from me?" I asked, my voice controlled, even. "You thought you could pretend everything was fine? That I wouldn't notice?" Her lips trembled. I don't know what to say. "Start with 'I'm sorry,'" I said coldly, sarcasm dripping from every syllable. She couldn't look away from the screen. Her tears finally spilled, but not from remorse. They came from fear. Her silence said more than words ever could. I watched her squirm, watched the false reality she'd clung to collapse around her. I closed the laptop. The image was already burned into my brain. I didn't need to see it again. "You've got 2 choices, Sarah," I said quietly but firmly. "Pack your things and leave. We never speak again. Or we drag this through the courts. I'll make sure everyone knows, your family, your job, your friends. I have everything I need to ruin your perfect image." Her eyes widened. She had never imagined I'd take control. She thought I'd stay blind, stay weak. but now she saw the truth. I held all the cards. I don't want that, she whispered, barely audible. Then start packing, I said. I'll be in touch once the lawyers sort everything. I just want you gone. She nodded, her body trembling, and turned away. No begging. No excuses. She knew this was the end. The weight of her choices had finally caught up with her. I stood silently as she moved through the bedroom, gathering her things, the remnants of 7 years of shared life. All gone, wasted, thrown away for a meaningless escape. I poured myself another drink and watched her walk out of the front door for the last time. There were no words left to say. Just silence. And freedom. The next morning, I packed a bag of my own and left. I had a flight booked, to a place I'd always dreamed of seeing, but never thought I'd go alone. It was time to rebuild, to find peace in solitude. Her world was in shambles now. And mine? Mine was finally ready for a new beginning.